'Twas a week before Christmas, and all through the city, the seasonal decor was sparkling and pretty. The gutters were cleared, and the streets had been plowed, but the freezing rain made it hard getting around. Supply lines were down, and folks were upset. Prices were high, as was credit card debt. The Sally Ann Santas were running their game. The neighborhood dealers were doing the same. Everything seemed such a picture of peace. The traffic lights blinking, the crystallized streets, as Tank in his helmet and I in my mask took up our patrol. The usual task. Now, nothing unusual was going on, but something that evening felt just a bit wrong. The evening, in fact, was eerily calm as we rounded a corner in Little Vietnam, and there stood a building long known and despised, a low-income, high-rent, low-maintenance, low-rise. The building in question was owned by this clown who lived like a king in a house across town. He'd styled himself like he was some sort of prince, but everyone downtown called him the Grinch. His hands were like hams, but grabby and small, and his eyes seemed to not really be there at all, with a mouthful of lies that were frequent and fervent and writhed when he spoke like a hole full of serpents. His face was a brick wall, his smile was a fence, and the hate that he held in his heart was intense. The building itself was rough and decayed, and some of its wiring was ancient and frayed. The plaster was crumbly, the windows were stuck, the fire escapes were all rusted as fuck. The carpets were moldy, and so were the walls. An acetone odor pervaded the halls. The plumbing was leaden, the heat was shut off. The halls all echoed with sneezes and coughs.
So why'd you go in?
I hear you inquire. Well, this is the part where we noticed the fire. The building was burning. We knew that because flames leapt from the side where the fire escape was. Well, no one was on it or standing outside, so I called 911 while Tank ran inside. They asked me my name and I said, I don't know, but this slum of a low-rise looks ready to blow. There's people inside with no safe way to leave, so excuse me, I've got to go. Send fire trucks, please. I switched off my burner and broke it in two, then took a deep breath, found a door, and ran through. The hallway was smoky, I couldn't see much. Started opening doors that were cool to the touch. Heads poked out of some, disappeared, then came back. Some carrying children, some dogs, and one cat. I'd cleared the first floor and was on my way up when the ceiling collapsed. Later on, I woke up. I was tattered and dizzy and covered with soot. I mumbled, "Where am I?" And someone said,
Look, he's here and alive.
and everyone cheered. I nodded and shrugged and said, "Great, but where's here?"
On a stolen bus.
A man kindly explained.
That's all I can tell you, but hey, how's your brain? And how many fingers of mine do you see?
He held up his hand and I said, "Maybe 3?" It dawned on me slowly how lucky I was. I started to ache and I felt my skin buzz. But where are we going? Is everyone all right?
We're alive,
Someone said.
but we're homeless tonight.
I looked to the front as my calm was reviving, and if I didn't see Tankenstein driving. "Don't worry about that. Just sit back and calm down. I know a place we can go. It's across town." Well, it took me a minute to guess what he meant as I sat up and looked out to reorient. We were driving past houses behind walls and gates. I felt my gut sink and decided to wait. Tank drove through a wrought iron barrier and said, "Well, this is the place." And he stopped the bus dead. We slowly got up and all followed him out, slowed only by injuries, wonder, and doubt. We walked up the driveway and over the lawn with everyone wondering what's going on. Now, I did not know for sure whose house it was, but I had guessed right because I know how Tank does. Then Tankenstein's fist knocked 1, 2, 3, 4 like a battering ram on the Grinch's front door. To his credit, the Grinch himself came to the door with a drink in one hand and a cocked .44. Well, he tried, but, Tankenstein didn't blink. He just snatched up the gun and said, "Finish your drink."
We've called the police,
said the Grinch through his smile. Tankenstein said, "I know, but we've still got a while. These people were housed in that building you owned. This house is theirs now." I said, "Man, are you boned?"
This house,
said the Grinch.
is my property, jerk. It was bought and paid for through sweat and hard work.
"I agree," replied Tank. "The words you say are true, but the work was all done by these people, not you. It is they who have paid for your mortgage and car, the contents of your fridge, freezer, cupboards, and bar, and even the gifts under your Christmas tree. It does not look like you own this place. To me, your family can stay if they're willing to share." The Grinch agreed, though he said that was unfair, so the people moved into their new home base. Good enough for the night at least, plenty of space. When the police arrived, Tankenstein then explained that they could leave quietly or leave in pain. And I heard them exclaim as they drove out of sight,
"We hate you, Tankenstein!"
And he said,
"Good night."
I said, "You saved Christmas." Tank looked at the ground.
"You know I would never."
He mumbled and frowned. We'd saved every human, 3 dogs and 1 cat. And then Tank ate the Grinch. Wish he hadn't done that.
That is not how it happened.
Oh, take a day off, weirdo. Thank you for watching this odd thing that I made under the influence of totally not criminalized drugs. If you have something to spare this month, I've put links in the description for donations to the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness, the Indian Residential School Survivors Society, some food banks, and probably a couple other things. Thank you again to my patrons. Here they are. They deserve all the good things. If you want, you can get your name here too by heading over to my Patreon and signing up. There's probably other reasons people do it. I don't know what they are. I never ask. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is the Silver Samaritan saying good luck, happy holidays, and stay safe.